Hello. Hi everybody. Thank you for being here. It means a lot for us because, as Thorsten said, it's the first time we're here in South Africa, or in Africa actually. It was the first time for us, and we wanted to make a good show. We want to make sure that we share the love that we have for the community here in Africa. And we really want to hear more about you, more about your project, what you're doing with Unity. We're here to take all the power of Unity use that you have and all the passion you have and take that back with us to UK. This is where we're based. So my name is Akouvi Ahoomey. I'm the business development manager for Africa, Spain, Italy, France, Benelux and other countries. And for me, it was really great show, great opportunity to meet you guys because I'm African. I was born in Togo. And and coming here to meet you in the business sense of Unity is a really great thing as well. That means a lot, and I'm really excited to be here. So that's the first thing I wanted to tell you. And on a more professional level, we are really excited as a company to be here. So I'm gonna introduce you a bit on Unity, why we're here, what we're doing, where we're going. And Mathieu's gonna talk through the different aspects of Unity in terms of how you can use it, the first step that you can take, and where Unity can take you. So yeah, we made this amazing logo by Africa and Unity. So we have some t-shirts that we'll be happy to hand over. Yes! Somebody needs to have an Excel. So we have a few Excels. Yeah, make a dress of it. So yeah, Unity in Africa. So this is a map showing where our different offices are. So when I started 4 years ago, we had maybe half of these offices. I'm based here in Brighton, somewhere here in Europe, and we have now 19 offices around the world. So some of the offices are just maybe 1 or 2 guys working from home, but we make them as offices. Our headquarters are still in San Francisco for the last 3 years. We started the company in Copenhagen with 3 founders. I don't know if you know the story about that, with David, Nicholas, and Joachim. I can't say. So basically, they started in 1990, I think, and the idea was to make a game. And unfortunately, they didn't make a game good enough for them to publish it. But they were using Unity for that, and they think that they had something in their hand that was powerful enough for people to take as well and make games with it. So Unity was born in 2004, so we celebrated the 10th year anniversary of Unity in June. So for us as well, it's a great step to tell people that we've been here 10 years, and the step as well is to look forward for this new emerging market. So this is all the offices we have, and I think something is missing here. What do you think?
Africa.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully, maybe in a couple of years, we have somebody from the community, maybe one of you guys, joining us. It would be amazing to have somebody from Africa actually working for us. So we have a big presence in Asia. In Copenhagen, we still have most of our developers. 200 of them are there. And in South America, we have support offices as well. And in America, we have Seattle, San Francisco, Sinan, etc. So where are we now, Unity? So in March this year, we reached a threshold of 1 million monthly active users. We are the largest community in terms of game industry, in terms of game development in the world. And this is thanks to you guys, because we know that we won't be here if we don't have that many users. So a round of applause for you guys. So yeah, we have 1 million monthly users. They're using Unity on a monthly basis every day. And Unity is not only for big companies, small companies, or indies. We have an array of all team size, all type of developers. We have artists, programmers, architects, game designers, schools. I don't know. Whoever wants to make a design, an interactive document, or interactive game or application can use Unity. We have also kids. I think the youngest kid who was using Unity was 8 years old. So if you have kids, brothers, sisters, whatever, you can get them on Unity at this young age. So Unity is a platform that's now targeting 21 different engines, 21 different platforms. So we started with iOS. We were the first pioneer to start with iOS. Then we decided to work with Android. As of today, we have 21 platforms, with more coming, with WebGL and Nintendo 3DS as well. So we work on this platform to make sure that everybody who wants to make a game is not limited by a platform problem, but we have the maximum of people that can basically share their love of making games on whatever platform they want. There's something as well coming, and I think that's going to be something that you guys will appreciate. Linux. We are working on a... yeah, I saw some people happy. So we are working on a build for Linux. We launched, I think it was this week sometimes, a test build, exactly. So you can go on the website, download it, and please give us your feedback, because we want to know what you like about it and what you love about it. And this is what we're gonna make us make a better platform or better build for Linux. Another thing that we changed in March this year when we released 5 at GDC. So we decided to scrap the whole free, pro, basic, and whatever, which was confusing for most of our users. We have 2 different models. The free became the personal edition, which is basically a license model that everybody who has less than $100,000 of revenue, funding, or budget can use. And this free personal edition has all the features of a pro license. So we kept the pro license as well. And what we did, we added more services, more options, more packages for the guys by using the pro version. So there's a little, I don't know if you can see, but this is basically the difference between personal and professional. You can see that on the website. I don't know if you have access to the, yeah, maybe bigger.
Sorry, how much is that?
So basically, to sum up, with the professional edition, you have access to team license. Yeah? Better. So, okay, basically with the professional edition. So first thing, we don't take any royalties. When you use the professional edition or the personal edition, we don't take any royalties. So whatever you make, you keep it. So we have a team license which is included, used to be paid for with a previous breakdown of free and professional license. What we added in the pro license is basically access to different services. So you can as well have a customized splash screen, so it's good if you want basically to have your own logo on your game. We added the dark skin. I know that somebody asked me about the dark skin earlier, like I want to get the license just for that. So we know it's a big thing for some people. We also added beta access for all the pro users. So now when we're working on the version, you have 3 months before the release date access to the beta, and you can give us your feedback on that. We also included few services that I think will help to contribute in the success of whatever you're doing, because when we created Unity, the idea was to democratize game development. And I think we did that now, based on the million users we have. What we want to do now, we want to help you to get to the next level and get success, have success in your game. And we want to democratize success in game development. So for that, we made few services that will be crucial for that. So this is first the cloud services, and basically will allow you to have a cloud where you can build directly your game from iOS and Android for now and publish it directly on these platforms. Mathieu will go through all these services after that. We have also the analytics service that basically allow you to understand how your users by downloading your app or your game are using your game, where they're dropping, if they're dropping for one reason, and understand how you can make a better game for them. And obviously, the more they play, if you have a good model, the more money you make. And the last service is the ads service, which is really important for us, because we think that making a game is also, behind when you make a game, you have to think about how you do the PR, the marketing of the game, how you make sure that people know about the game, how you make sure that people want to play more and have fun with the game. So we have the ad service, which is a service that allows you to create video playback and add video into your game for other gamers to discover your game. We have the asset store as well, which is one of the major part of Unity. We created the asset store 4 years ago, and it's absolutely a fantastic platform that allows developers like you to make money or to give free assets for other developers to use. We created as well something called Level 11 program. I'm going to let Mathieu explain why it's called Level 11 because he loves the story.
Do you know why Level 11? Do you know what's Level 11?
It's free stuff, it's awesome.
Okay.
I've been doing it since you started, and it's just awesome.
Okay, cool.
It kind of works out the same price as if you had to buy them separately.
Yeah.
The monthly subscription kind of works out the same.
Okay.
So it feels free.
It's cool. So, okay, yeah, that's exactly that. So to explain more. So, yeah, basically, if you have the pro version, you get access every month to a bunch of like key assets, which are like here, for example, Playmaker. Probably everybody knows it. That was the first free assets for the first month of the Level 11 program. But there are all the top assets that you really need to have or to look around about physics, like Eddie's vehicle physics, for example, if you want to have stuff. So it's like really top assets which are, like we select like 2, 3, 4 of them every month and make them free for a month. So we basically, what we do is we pay the guys what the amount of money they usually have for a month so that everybody can have it. So yeah, so that's why when we made the Pro edition, we were like, why people will pay for the Pro at some point if they don't have to, and we wanted to say let's keep some stuff which are cool and the dark skin. And so the why Level 11? So I've heard that, I've heard the word Spinal Tap. Have you seen this documentary? So Spinal Tap is a false rock documentary, and this guy here, he explains why he plays louder than the other guys. So he explains that it's a GIF, so it's not very long, but it says that most of the bands, their amplifier goes to 10, and their amplifier goes to 11. And that's basically the Pro edition is that you can do all the games with the personal one, but you can go to 11 with. Yeah, so I have small questions. It's quite easy because they are a bit old now, these games. Maybe almost 1 year old, some of them. But still, we see if you know all of them. Yeah, easy. Super easy. Yeah, can't see. Very good. No, it's gone home. This one. Gang Beast. Windows Gang Beast. Yeah. Okay, the other one has to try. the other half of people have to try it. That's a fantastic party game, 4 players, very good. And there's Legends, very good. That's French. Batman Go, yeah. And there is Lara Croft Go now. Assassin's Creed, is it a joke? It's not a joke, actually, yeah. Yeah, Ubisoft Blue Byte did Assassin's Creed for Android and iOS. It's called Assassin's Creed Identity. And they took the assets from, that's quite crazy, they took the assets from Assassin's Creed 3, like all the assets, and they moved them to Unity. That's quite impressive. And it's a huge project and they are quite crazy, but it's a case. This one.
Keep talking and no one gets blown up.
No, The Room. The Room 1, 2, 3, also very good. CSR Racing. Temple Run. I could have put Subway Surfer in the list of. Also, yeah, what is great with Unity is that you don't have only alternative games, but also like games for the kids, which is fun. Republic, yeah, very good. There is a version for Android and iOS, plus now on PC, which is very nice. There's a remastering of it, very nice. And this one I don't have time to talk about. You can ask me.
Yeah, we want to see maybe next year South African games.
Yeah, I will have, actually I'm bad because I could have put an entire page of it. Yeah. Next year I do only African games. So what has changed with Unity? It's quite funny because I started a year and a half ago, and it was still a mobile engine. But what happened this year? This is a screenshot. This is taken the same day, same minute, on Metacritic. I just wanted to go on Metacritic and watch at PC, Xbox, and PS4 games. That's the top 10, and I took all of the stuff which were made with Unity. So 90 Metacritic score for Pillars of Eternity made with Unity, 89 for Kerbal Space Mode programs also. This is PC. This is PC Ori and the Blind Forest, but it's also on Xbox and has also a great Metacritic score. City Skyline also, I don't know if you've played that. Like basically, for me it's incredible because I played SimCity for years and they've been still around, so you're like, they are unbeatable, the guys from SimCity. and they arrived. Do you know, can you guess how many people have been making City Skyline?
Heard 2. What?
No, more. Yeah. No, actually, there are 8 people, but it's super impressive, including everything, like the CEOs doing all the stuff and all the marketing and so on. Never Alone, which is like also very nice, very interesting because it talks about the local culture of the Inuit culture, and they could make something a hit with something which talk about local culture, and it's beautiful, and this is not all. And there is Endless Legend 82 and Legend of the Endless from the same company, 79, and that's from like I just took it the same day. And I think that a month before we had like 6 out of the 10 top Metacritics which were made with Unity. And I will quote David Edgarson, who said, "Not bad for a mobile game engine." Yeah. But also, yeah, as we said, many other stuff which are not also games. That's also very interesting. This is called Arts of Skin. It's a documentary magazine, on iOS where you can look at interviews of people doing tattoos, and you can they've made like crazy scanners of people with the tattoos, and you can go and look very nicely at the tattoos. It's very nice. This is a sequence for French TV, which was made with Unity. The guy says, "I work with Max, but I don't want Maya, but I don't want to wait for hours for the build, like for the big farm to be ready." And he just made that in Unity, so you can. The stuff you watch on TV is actually, I went to his office and I could see it played in the Unity editor. And he also, I think he's the first one, also this guy, to have signed with the French TV for an animation movie for the French television entirely made with Unity. So it doesn't even have any interaction or input. But I think it's also a big feature for Unity that you can, like when you see the games, I think it makes kind of sense to be able to to just watch it and not play it. Could be, which is called animated movies. Yeah, other tons of stuff. There's a choreographer who made the dancer has live motion tracking, and all the background is dancing with all the like they made a choreography on the back, which is tracked with him, and it's super nice. There's a video, and his name is I cannot remember his name, so yeah, sorry. But you can ask me when you want. So yeah, so that was the big news of the year for me, working at Unity, because for a year I had 200 times these questions per day. So 5 was finally released, and we go to Unity 4. That's a very pitchy slide that I've made. You will see. I will review it because it was not enough actions. Yeah. Unity 5 is darker. So yeah, we just put down the licenses. So yeah, I will just try to go a bit through because everybody's doing his own stuff on the side. So I will just try to go through all the new stuff which arrived in Unity 5. There is like 40 of them. So when I was doing this on slides, it was like I was killing people. So I just separated into 4 slides, which is already killing people. But since I'm French and Daft Punk is French, I made it into easier, better, faster, stronger. Okay. So why Unity 5 is easier? I won't do any demo because we don't have time. So there's a new GUI. Who is using the new GUI? Who is not using the new GUI? Yeah! What are you using? NGUI?
Text mesh.
Text mesh.
Technically French.
On GUI. Okay. That's cool. Do you like it?
Yeah, it's great. Apparently it produces garbage like a machine.
Okay. So, but yeah, normally most of the people have gone to the new GUI and are pretty happy. I've made my own metacritics of this, and I think it's like 95. That was pretty impressive. Like, I think the beta was something in November last year, September last year, and most of the studio I visited already switched most of their project to it, like in a few weeks, and they were pretty happy. There are some performance problems, but we talk about this later. There is the audio mixer also. Who tried the audio mixer? Audio is always the poor child. But yeah, it's super cool. You really have to use it. Like even if you don't know anything about sound, really just giving it a day. Like take your game and give just a day to sound. Because with the audio mixer, you can mix the stuff up and just like sometimes changing the sound, especially for the mobile games where you play with your headphones. It can really make a difference. There are more effects. You can really make the mix of everything in the audio mixer. I'm so sad I can't do this. And yeah, it's very, very nice. And also you can, I will still do live, it's gonna be talking demos. So you can take, like when you put all your levels together, you can take snapshots of it, and like different snapshots. So like, for example, when you have your sound and the audio effects in this room, they won't be the same as in the corridor. So what you do is like you go in every room which has some identity, audio identity. You set all the parameters for it. You add the effects, the reverb, which goes well. When everything is good, you take a snapshot, and then each time you change room, you can change the snapshot, and it will just change all the buttons going up and all the effects. So it's a very nice way to really make a very good sound design. Also, you can make procedural music with it, because the snapshots you can make a few snapshots, like intense music, like very well, and like the drums and the keyboards or something like this. And you make snapshots of all this kind of music, and then during your gameplay you can actually give weights to every snapshot. So if you think that like depending on the number of enemies, you can add more intensity, and it's just about like it's just one line of code putting more weights to this snapshot of intense music. So it's really nice. I really recommend looking at this. The guys have done great work. Mechanism, I've shown it in the workshop today. That we kind of took something which looked like a state machine, but which was not really applicable to something else than animation, and we really made it into a good hierarchical state machine, which kind of made it kind of visual scripting, not visual scripting with writing the same code with boxes, but still it's very useful to make sequences of things and not coding for something which doesn't need coding. Having boxes connected together with some behaviors on it, it's really a great gain of code, and so your code is more readable and so on. Yeah?
How much can you do with that state?
It's I mean, how much? A lot. You really have to use it for the good stuff, but if you are coding, for example, and you start having a lot of timers, like when did it start, when did it stop, in which sequence I am. Like if you have something, for example, for the GUI, if you have multiple pages for the GUI, there's no point like coding this, like after this page there is this page, and the transition to this one is 5 seconds, and because when you will iterate on it, the code is not good for that. So it's better to just put behaviors on the state machine. Each state is a page, and then you can really tweak the time and stuff like that. So really, if you have something which is about, if you have a function which is a class which has on start, on end, and update, it means that you should have done it in the state machine, basically. That's it. So, yeah. Sorry? Like you can reuse, like on the state you have a behavior, but you can reuse your behavior. So when you, you have to reuse the behavior, and you can even share the behavior across the states. So if you just drag and drop, it's one instance per state, but you can actually share it. So you can just have a reference to that. Also, something interesting is the API, the fact that you can script the state machine. It's very interesting because that's a big problem with visual scripting. Visual scripting is very good at getting very quickly what you want. But then in big productions, you end up just want to have the same state machine but a bit different. So then you do the best tool in the world, which is copy-paste. And then you change it a bit, and then you copy-paste again. And then there is a bug in the first. So then you change it a bit, but then you cannot copy-paste because you lose the work you've done in the middle. So you just redo everything. And I think when you get something which is pretty good in the state machine, that's if you know that you will have to reuse it in different versions, I think it's good to start coding it in API state machine so that you can actually just, when you fix a bug, it will be just fixed at the time. So it's easier also because we added some physics effectors. Physics effectors, what is nice is you can code also a lot of things, but like if you want to create a bomb in your game, why do you have to make for each blah 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 which is going in this area, then I apply the force and blah blah blah. It would be easier if you can put an object with a radius and a force. And this is a kind of physics effector that we added, which is called point effectors and surface effectors, which is just a surface where every rigid body, 2D rigid body, are getting a given force when they go through that. So you can make accelerators like this, like if you have something like a slider place or wind or yes.
How could you just do that for 3D effects as well?
Yeah, that would be good also. Yeah. No, it's not coming. Sorry, but it would be good. Yeah. It's just that it would be good. Yeah. So yeah, we have physics effectors, like especially surface effectors. We have a bunch of them coming in 5.3, which are very nice. One of them, the most super cool one, is buoyancy effectors. So you take a surface and you say where is the top line of the water or the liquid, and when you drop something on it, it's floating on the top, and you can choose the density of it. And it doesn't even have some borders, so it can be some jelly stuff that when you push outside, it falls outside on the side. It's very cool. We have like six or seven new physics effectors coming in the next version. Stuff for rigid body also. If you have something and you drop something on it, you want it to kind of go down because it kind of resists but still moves. If you want to hammer a nail or whatever, there are tons of stuff like this. Also, body effectors are super nice. Asset bundles. Asset bundles, that's a boring part for most people, but it's super important. Because the things which happens when you end up your game is the memory it takes to be able to run on the old devices, and the loading times. So because if you put everything on the same stuff, for sure everything will load when you launch the application, and everything will be here, the entire application, when in fact you had levels, you have introduction scenes, and you could have the assets just per stuff. And asset bundles are for that. We changed completely the way it works. And I said a lot of sorry. Okay, and you. I shouldn't have told you. Sorry? I want to be. Yeah, I want to be good. So yeah, basically, you can just bundle the assets into this stuff, and you can have different versions of it. It's directly in the editor. You can type the bundle so that we can check for you the dependencies. We create a kind of dictionary of this, so that you can manage the versioning and the loading of this. It's very cool. If you're a programmer, you have to look at this and spend 2 days on that. There is a forum where they talk about this with an example, how to manage versions like HD, SD, and also how to manage the fact to reveal only what has changed. It's a good point also if you have 500 megs of textures and it's in 10 bundles, when you change one, you don't have to recompress everything when you do build. So I think for me the vision of games should be that in your everything should be bundles and just the code should be in your build. So when you build, you actually just build code, and when you load assets, they have to be asset bundles. That's the best way, I think, to be sure that your game will load fast and won't take too much time and adapt very easily to every platform. Standard shader, that's a AAA world which arrives. So that was something which was really missing in Unity. If you wanted to define what makes a AAA engine and a mobile engine, standard shader is there. Basically, the idea is that that instead of just computing the normal lighting on it, you take into consideration what is the material, what are the physical properties of the material. So, for example, the metal. If something is metallic, it's not because you painted something which looks like it's metallic, because when you change the environment, it doesn't look metallic anymore. It's really because when the light from the environment is bouncing on the metal, it will bounce back with no change of color, basically. And if the metal is very polished, all the light which comes from one direction will go out in the same direction. But if it's a bit polished, then the light will bounce and will be spread across many directions. And this is what makes something look material and not because you painted it. And it's the same for plastic, for example. But plastic, it changes the color because it takes a part of the color which is arriving and changes it with the color of the plastic somehow. And it's the same for all materials. So we introduced that, which means that we have a shader which computes this equation, which is called the equation of conservation of energy. Like the energy is coming in one direction and you have to have the same energy coming outside but in different directions. And we copied that, so it means that it doesn't work fantastically well on mobile. We have two versions of the equation of conservation of energy. One which is faking a bit, which is going faster. And wow, that's so cool. I love this talk. And yeah. I can jump 2 slides in the meantime.
I'm sorry, I just want to ask one thing about that.
Yeah.
I actually encountered that problem. doesn't work great for mobile. And I've got a game out on mobile. Yeah, that's that. And it requires a 5X, iPhone 5X. So,
Yeah.
I'm thinking myself, what is the solution?
So basically on mobile, so we have been working also to, we had something in place called Strike Team to kind of address these problems. And they have done quite a lot of work in performance improvement. And basically what they've done is that they have taken like 10 or 15 mobile phones and tried to run it on all the different architecture and try to find out where is the gap. It's a bit disappointing in the end because it's just that it's a mobile phone and it's not running well everywhere. So I think there were some little improvements, but not like massive improvements. I would say one conclusion to that is the fact that you still have to use the mobile shaders that are quite good for mobile in the end.
No, but the thing is that the mobile shader doesn't have only got a diffuse map and normal.
Yeah, but
so my reflections I'm going to have to use the cube map, right?
yeah, exactly.
So I
So
can't connect the cube map to the
with the reflection props, yeah.
So must I go customize?
Yeah. So the thing is, I've done that for a customer who sent me his project, which was running like shit and looking like shit, and on like because he was using standard shader everywhere. I just used for most of the stuff. I used the normal mobile shader, and it was looking great. And I just used the standard shader where you really need something where you pay the price of it. Because in reality, like if you look around here, there is honestly almost no need of standard shader in this room because you don't see the reflection of the environment. There's a specular map will work everywhere. The only place you need it is here because you really make it plastic. But on the other rest, I swear you cannot see the difference between specular diffuse.
So are you saying that the standard shader isn't really that optimized? Like, should we go to the diffuse map?
It's just that it has this. If you have some physical-based parameters on it, which means that you start using the conservation of an energy equation, then that's normal. It will, for every pixel it runs the equation. So that's why it's you can. So I think what we did is also the fact that you can still use the standard shader if you put the parameters down, but then it will be like a normal shader. But yeah, I think it's just, it's a sad world of mobile phone right now that they cannot run such a big equation. Yeah, I mean it works, but you really need to use it not everywhere, but on the right places. That's it. For PC, however, it works everywhere almost, so that's pretty good. Frame debugger. Who has used a frame debugger? No, you never use a frame debugger. That's incredible. So what do you do when you arrive and see that you have bad performances? What do you look at?
Profile.
You look at the profile? Yeah, but usually most games are GPU bound, so you don't see really that on the profile. Usually you look at the draw calls. You're like, oh, you have too many draw calls. That's what you should do. And then the next question is like, why do you have many draw calls? And if you don't look at the frame debugger, what you do, you turn things off, and then you look when it goes up, right? The frame debugger, it just gives you all the draw calls, and you can go through them with a slider, and you can see exactly where the draw calls are from. If you have 400 draw calls, you can see them one by one, and then you know where they are. If you click on it, you see on your hierarchy where this comes from, so you can even see the object which is there. So really, frame debugger is amazing. We are making it also available remotely, I think in 5.3. So you can even connect it to your iPhone. And command buffers, that's also for the graphics programmer. It's if you do a lot of things outside. If you had a game engine before and you wanted to just make your kind of own graphics features, then command buffers are very good because it allows to just send graphics commands at any point of the pipeline, so you can do refractions and stuff like that. It's very, very good. So most of the graphics engineers that I meet that used to work on custom engine, they spend their time on command buffers and things. Better, we are number 2 of what? Where's my bit? Oh no, Worse challenge. Better. So why does Unity 5 looks better? So there were the standard shaders. There is also the global. Oh, and what I forgot to say about the standard shaders, it's because that's in the easier part, is the fact it's an Uber shader, so you can just combine all the stuff you want. You don't have to choose any time the combination of that. And we actually compile the version for you with the optimization for your platform based on that, so you don't have to combine stuff. The second thing is global elimination. Who knows what global elimination is? Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, so I explain it. Basically, can we see? We don't see it a lot, but we don't see it. But if we wouldn't be here, we wouldn't find it. Basically, if you have a red wall and a white ground, the light in a normal pipeline, the light, the polygon with the red and the polygon with the white, they don't know each other, right? So this one will be lit with this light here, and it will have a certain lighting, and this one will have a certain lighting. But in reality, the light on the red bounces on the wall, and then light back the ground with red. And this is called global illumination. And to have this, it's a lot of work, so that's usually ray tracers are doing that, because you have to trace rays in space and see where the light is bouncing. So what we have, and we already had in Unity 4, is the way to compute all these light traces and store the color on the ground in a less resolutive texture. And in Unity 4 we were using Beasts, which was a middleware acquired by Autodesk in the meantime. And it was a bit old, and also the version we had was quite old. And the standard industry is called Enlighten, and it is used in most AAA game engine, in Unreal and Frostbite engine. They all use the same middleware to compute these traces and store them into light maps. So I tried to not put the wrong one. And yeah, so you can store this on a texture, but you don't need to store for every pixels. You just store it like every 10 centimeters or 20 centimeters, and then you just mix this color with the normal texture, which will make that around here, if you have a red dot which mixes with everywhere, it will be a bit red, like very subtle, and it will look realistic. But also what we gain with Enlighten is the fact that you can do it at runtime, because the problem is when it's baked in the texture, you have a fantastic looking indoor, but if you turn the light off, you have the red on the ground because it's on the texture, and that's a bit sad. So what we do is we store the traces into, instead of storing directly the color, we store the light trace in the pixel. We have a reference to that, so that when you turn on the light, or if you change the color of the wall, or if you change the color of the light, we can actually go through the trace and recompute everything until we have the right color on the ground. So you can have multiple colors around, and it will change actually the global illumination. So that's runtime global illumination. Also, the second thing is with standard shaders, it's all about the environment. Is how much the environment reflects. So here we see it a bit. That depending on the direction, we can see that we see a piece of the chair, and if there will be something, we could see the environment on it. And if you want to see the environment, you need to take a picture of the environment. And we have something called reflection probes, which is a game object you place in your game, and we will actually take photos from the environment, and we'll apply it to every object around, so that you can do physical base shading. So the conclusion of that is the fact that you need reflection. Like if you go for standard shaders, you need reflection probes, so you need to take this into account. Light probes. The problem with light probes is the fact. Yeah, the problem with global illumination. Sorry, is the fact that when you have your red wall, it was super nice to have the ground which is lit in red. but the character when it's going around is still completely the same. So it makes it very strange, especially for the ground. When you have a yellow ground, you really are yellow. If the character is white, you will be really lit in yellow. So this you cannot store it into a texture because you don't know what the character will be. So what we do, instead of storing it in texture, we store that into probes, into small dots in the air, which will either, if you do it baked, you will have the color of it, and it will just light everything which passes around here will be lit by these probes. And if you runtime global illumination, then it just stores the path trace which illuminates this point and re-illuminates the things which goes around. So all this complicated stuff, which delayed a lot, Unity 5, are for that, just to give this little stuff of reality. Yes?
Yeah, what would you do if you had a procedural level? So is there a possibility to store the light maps into the assets or something
No.
like that?
Like you can store the light maps on the assets.
Yeah.
But we come with I think with 5.2 we have multi-scene light map baking, so you can actually have, it depends on how much procedural it is, but you could imagine having baked for each room the lights, and then you can load them together. So you can still have a kind of procedural maze. But the thing is, like, it's confused. Like, you need to in both cases, runtime global illumination or baked, you need to bake something at some point. So you cannot break a wall, for example. That's even breaking a wall. That's a limit of this. I think the newest version of Enlighten allows to break walls now, so you can do it at runtime. But I think that also to the expense of many things to store like illumination. Yes.
I remember something like including a lot of volumetric lights. And so they need to introduce files to volumetric lights.
Volumetric lights?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like just lights to move or lights to pass or then you flash.
So like, what's it called? Oh shit, sorry.
I think the shaded paper scene,
Yeah.
Unity 5,
Yes.
they've got the little light flickering, and it flicks, and then you can see it bounce back into the roof. So I think they do that. The other little light that bounces in the...
Oh, so you mean light bouncing when like multiple bounces. So you can do that with the reflection probe. You can choose how many bounces you want it to have, and then we compute the path further. We actually tried it like making a few mirrors together and making reflection probe and see how far you can go. It's quite a lot. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. Yeah, with reflection probes you can update them at runtime also, which is quite expensive because you have to make 6 rendering, but you can, for example, having a lower resolution, because if you have something which is not like raw, you don't need so much resolution to have the feeling of the lighting. So you can update it at runtime for something. Also for procedural levels, it's different from global illumination, but for procedural levels, also the reflection probes that can be computed at runtime are very useful for procedural levels and standard shadows.
Sorry, I need to ask a question here. Are there volumetric shadows? So, like if you have dusty air, can you actually see that there is a shadow of the particle in the air?
No, we don't have one unit, but I think we have one somewhere. If you look at it, there is one. Even made by, I don't remember. But there is something. I think there is also one on the standard shadows, on the standard assets. I'm not 100% sure, but there is one. I already tried it, made by. Okay, I don't remember, but there is one somewhere. But most of the time, if you want to do volumetric lights, it's 2 imposters and works very well. But yeah, you can have volumetric shadows. We have also in the family of volumetric shadows with the Blacksmith demo. We have released for free on the asset store the atmospheric scattering, which is kind of a volumetric shadow also, with the mountains and compute how much light there is in the sky. Speed tree. So speed tree, we work with them. I worked for 14 years in the industry, and I started in airplane simulators. And it was 2001. And this company was already making just trees at this time. So it's been 14 years, this company only makes trees. And it's interesting because it's a pain to make trees because you have to have all the LODs for that and things. So they have done a system where you have a semantic analytics of the semantic editor of the tree, where like what is the main branch and the thick branches are coming out, and what are the size, how thin they go, what is the weight in the end, which makes them bend, and so on. So they've made this, and so there are two things in Unity. There is a small, very simple semantic editor if you want to make your own tree, and there is the integration of speed tree, so that we can support all their shaders and all the LOD works automatically. So if you buy a tree on the asset store from speed tree, it will have all the right LOD, and you can put a lot of them, and it blends very well between the different level of details. And they also have an editor outside if you really want to make your own tree. That's they have like it's the equivalent of 3ds Max, but just for trees. Close, it's very nice. Oh, I want to show. I do one demo. I cannot do something with that.
3D Max.
Because I really love this stuff. I really especially love something. So the close. So this is also available on the asset store. That's all based from all assets that were used for the blacksmiths. I don't know who has seen the blacksmiths video. It's very, very nice, and the assets are available on the asset store. And the guy who did the blacksmith demo, the guys and girls, they actually not spent. It was not like so much time doing assets, but they also spend most of their time doing some special things, like shadows for the skin, for the face, because they are very different from shadows for a game, because you have very subtle shadows on the face, and that's what makes the face realistic. So the fact that your nose is actually shadowing the rest in a very subtle way, and they have made this, and it's available for free. And some things that didn't work on it, because it's working very well on Unity 5, and which was working very badly on Unity 4, is the close. And the close here is used to make the close of these guys. So it's not animation, it's really close. So I will show you that. So all this is just a skin mesh renderer, and just a close component. And the close component, what it does is that you edit the constraints on it. So you just choose how much you want it to be stiff, how the material is stiff. So when you have the places where it's put together, it's very stiff. So you just put like very strong constraint. And the more you go outside, the less you go with constraints. And then, so that it's very efficient, you just specify which collider it goes against. So you keep really the list of the colliders. So here, all these points are have some physics, but they are always just these stupid simple colliders. Yes?
If that's object is one mesh, is that one mesh or is that several meshes?
It's one mesh, yeah. One skin mesh. Yeah. Yeah, it's very nice. So it was really targeted at all close kind, like a cave or whatever. And what is very and what I prefer about this demo is, I don't know if the screen is alright. Let's see. Okay, I'll make a last one. Okay? No, okay, I don't make it. It's alright. You can come and see me at the booth. Okay. Can I have 5 minutes? 5 minutes?
Awesome.
5 minutes is good?
Yeah, 5 minutes.
Okay, cool. So there is Commodore64, it's editor.
It's still stronger and
Faster?
faster.
Sorry, we have to go. Okay, so it's basically it's faster because it's multi-threaded. That's a short story, and because Unity 4 was not multi-threaded, and we added a job system. If you go in the profiler, you can look at all the jobs which are here. And this is a great, when you do something multi-threaded, the biggest job is to do the job system so that you can debug it and you can visualize it. So we did that in Unity 5, and now we can add every component which can be optimized through multi-threading. We can do this in a matter of few days or weeks. We will, like for example, in 5.2 we did the batching of the UI multi-threading. That was one of the main work. So I go very fast. That's an example of how fast it is. This is because the skin mesh rendering is multi-threaded. So just by multi-threading the skin mesh, gain like 5-10 performances. And stronger, that's the last part. So making games is unfortunately not during the game. Is a lot of other things. The first thing is that you make the game with other people. So you kind of mix up and you have to merge and stuff like that. So we had it seed and prefab merging. I can talk about this a bit. If you want to talk about this, you can see me at the booth. Unity Pro is free for the consoles. That was also a problem because if you wanted to develop for consoles, you had to pay for the dev kit plus the license of Unity for consoles, which is the same kind of thing for every middleware. We didn't work on WebGL, but there's a long story behind it. We made an Oculus partnership so that it's integrated, and you probably have seen that on Unity 5.1. And Unity is not only an engine, but there are many services. There is like cloud build, so you can you just give the URL of your source control. Who is not using source control? Just to see. You're not using source control, that's bad. No, who is using source control because I don't want to make people feel bad. Yeah, that's a lot less than you should all use source control, Git or whatever. It takes 2 minutes, and then you can give the URL of the source control, and we do the build for iOS, Android, and web player for you automatically each time you commit something. So it's very cool. Because if you want to do that in your company, you have to take a server and read the log and make the backend and everything. Unity ads, you can add advertisements, which are videos, which are quite nice. Each time you click on it, it gives you some money. And you can make, there is a game called Crossy Road, which made $3 million in a year, 2 people, just with ads. So, just with that. And every play allows you to record the gameplay. So this is available for iOS only now, and we work on the Android version. So basically, your people who play your game can push a button, and they will have the replay of their gameplay. They can share with their friend like this game is amazing and see what I've done. And analytics, that's super important also because when you release your game in the wild, then you don't know what happens with it. There's a French company, French students, who released their game. It went super good, like 1 million users. And they put analytics, and they found out that 90% of the people were dropping at level 9. And that almost everybody which was going to level 11 was finishing the game. So they saw that in the analytics because you can make some markers, that you can make your own events. So they take level 10, and they moved it to where it was kind of the same difficulty, and suddenly, like they almost had double the number of people finishing the game, and this is super important. So also it's the same thing. It's integrated in Unity, so you just copy paste an ID, and then you can go to the dashboard and see what happens to your game. I think there is a tier for personal, and then it depends on how long you get the analytics and how many customs that you can do, like complicated business model. But yeah, but Yeah, maybe, I don't know. And also the goal of the analytics is quite cool because not everybody understands analytics. So we made something which gives you some hints directly, analyze the top analytics of your game and say, oh, we think that you probably fucked up in Brazil because you lost 30% of your users, and you don't have to look through all the data. We give you some hints about what is wrong right now. Like here, for example, like you dropped 40% revenue this week, and we have 3 candidates for that. So the fact that the new players they spent half the money that the new players from last week. So maybe you change the business model of your game internally, and you fucked up everything. Brazilian Android player they drop by 40% or 30%, which means maybe you have a bug because you made an update because you had the translation there and nobody plays with that. And the likely spenders, which are the people who wanted to pay more money, they like to pay money. They don't pay so much money after playing for a while. So, and then you can take your own conclusion of that. Game performance analyzer. Oui. Game performance analyzer. 10 slides more. Game performance analyzer is just also the fact that when you log, you're logging of your game, right? But when you put it also in the wild, the moment where everybody plays your game, where you need the most the logs, that's where you don't have logs. So we made a service where you can actually log on the cloud, so you can look on the cloud how many times you had a new reference exception or whatever warning that you put. You can see it on the web on every place. And very fast we have delivered. So I don't know if you've seen, but we noticed, but we will do now a release every 3 months. Like every 3 months there will be a release, dot release. And we have, and since now we have a fixed release date, we can have a roadmap. So you can see on the website the roadmap of Unity. We have also released networking, but you probably know this if you were at my workshop. That's the roadmap. And we have crazy cool stuff coming everywhere, but also in the analytics, this is one of the most impressive things I've seen, which is coming in the future, is the fact that when you want to have your game running somewhere in the country where you don't know exactly what people are using as a phone, if you want to be sure that most people can have your game running, you need to test it on their phone. And what people do now, they go to the country or they call all the shops and say, what do you sell the most for phones? That gives you the best idea right now. But since almost 50% of the games are made with Unity, we can actually have all the analytics of which phones, which Android version or whatever, and we will be able to share with you. You could go to a country and say this is the top 5 phones and this is the top 5 Android devices. That's pretty cool shit. And yeah, and release the characters from Max Smith, and that's all.